Well, the walls may be closing in on Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. She faces allegations of steering taxpayer money toward fraudulent schemes in her state. Boy, that state's a mess. Great people, though. House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer detailing the next steps of the investigation.
I do think Ilhan Omar is in a lot of trouble. She's got that big question mark on how her net worth jumped up to, at least $6 million and then went back down to zero over a one-year period.
So are you saying that Ilhan Omar, the congresswoman from Minnesota, that she was getting federal money and feeding it into these corrupt Somali networks, her cronies?
I think one of the projects she requested was proved to be a fraudulent Somali scheme.
Now, we have reached out to Congresswoman Omar's team for comment. We've yet to hear back. We'll let you know if that changes. Meanwhile, a former state employee who was placed on administrative leave is now accusing the Walz administration of ignoring fraud and intimidating whistleblowers. Watch this.
The smear campaign starts where you are told that you are racist, and then your job duties are lessened and lessened until you basically have no job duties. There is just a continuous effort to stifle you, to shut you up. And it is impossible to overcome. So to say that leadership was not aware or the governor was not aware I can tell you that is absolutely false.
I tell you, that is legally deadly, Kaylee.
Yeah.
I mentioned the good people of Minnesota. People deserve better representation than those who will defraud them.
Yes, and for anyone to say, oh, that's a Republican activist. No, Faye Bernstein, the whistleblower, is a Democrat. And she saw this, and she had a problem with it, because anyone should have a problem with taxpayer money going to fraudsters. And she has been bold and stood up and has repeatedly said the governor knew about this. How could he not? We have reports. I believe they're Inspector General reports, or at least government documents going back to before he came to office. I'm looking at data from 2015, 35 child care facilities flagged, 2016, 41, 2017, 42 flagged. He comes into office at the beginning of 2019, Governor Walz. There's been ample warning at this point from whistleblowers, from government agencies. And what does he do? He shuts down the government agency that Jay Swanson is working at and doesn't take this seriously until a young 24, 25-year-old Nick Shirley comes in with a camera. Thank God for Nick Shirley bringing attention to this, and now there needs to be accountability.
Joe?
Amazing about Nick Shirley, right? All the resources of CBS and ABC and all these networks, and one guy with one camera just completely blows this thing open.
Well, he's not doing it for money.
No, he's not.
he's not sticking to a budget and doing all these sideline things. He's got one goal.
Yeah.
Let's go find the truth.
And when you only have a one-person crew, the budget's basically Arby's, right? And maybe Waffle House, and you're good to go.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take that, too. A pleasant reminder, by the way, that Tim Walz was a couple of swing states away from being a heartbeat away from the presidency, jazz hands. Could you imagine him running the country? That would be utterly remarkable to me. And I just wonder, when you look at Ilhan Omar and you look at Nancy Pelosi and you look at all these people in Congress that come into this job. In Ilhan Omar's case, she was in debt. And then she was suddenly worth $6 million. And then that's gone away again. People see Nancy Pelosi making hundreds of millions of dollars in the stock market. No one likes this. Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. I just wonder, we always hear about, we're really close to this person getting prosecuted. This person's going to get away to jail. And it never happens. Right? So my eyes glaze over a little bit when I hear that there's going to be prosecutions. Let me see someone once be held accountable, truly, because it doesn't seem like it happens very often.
Well, and Emily, I'd have to think to get to this point, there have been a lot of hands that have been greased. So they probably have some favors they can call in.
Well, I will say that, I think in the timeline that we are used to in the world of media and 2026 of constant information and updates and the like, we might expect results sort of soon. But the wheels of justice do turn, and the good men and women at the FBI and the DOJ and the like are methodically and very specifically uncovering and tracing so much of forensic accounting. And remember, the negligence standard, by the way, is knew or should have known. So it's preposterous that we continue hearing from whistleblowers of both sides of the aisle that say it's not just should have known. He absolutely knew. There is now incontrovertible evidence that this individual knew about it and yet let it happen. And I think that we will absolutely see criminal charges. I think there's also a ton of civil suits to be had. I think nonprofits have an absolute standing to sue. And there's zero, by the way, shelter from office duties that were outside of your actual position, meaning the governor and his cronies are not shielded from liability because this isn't the normal course of their duties. Fraud is not normal course. Fraud is misconduct. Looking the other way while your state racks up billions in dollars of fraudulent money that should have gone to needy families or children with and nutrition funds and so much, and instead went to Somaliland and terrorists or cronies' fat pockets. I mean, there's a whole host, I think, of charges that we are going to see. So we just have to remain patient, because the longer that they take, obviously within reason, it will ensure that those building blocks are solid, because at the end of the day, we do want to see accountability. We don't want to see these chips fall.
So many victims, and you mentioned some of them, the autism fraud in that state as well. Kennedy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like kids shouldn't go hungry in this country. They absolutely should not. And, you know, for the wonderful people who are doing God's work, who are trying to feed them and clothe them and make sure that they're not deficient in the very basics of life so they can go to school and learn, those people are completely hosed out of their work as well because of this massive grift. And it was really the perfect combination of a governor who wanted to spend a bunch of money but didn't want to overtax his citizens, because Minnesota was just deemed in one survey as the happiest state in the country. So he wants people to maintain their happiness, but if you jack up their taxes, they're going to be quite miserable. But then you get the federal fire hose, you get a bunch of money coming in from Medicare funding, and then on top of that, you know, sure, you have some communities who are taking a little bit here and there, but they're really helping people, aren't they? And if they're not, at least the entire community is voting for you and keeping you in power. So for him, like, what a scheme that was. But then they pulled back the curtain. We got to see exactly who was operating the levers and what was going on. But I'm with Joe. I want to see some specifics, and I want to see that meticulous work really bear fruit with some people at the top who need to pay with more than their political reputations.
Yeah, that's why it's actually really good that this president has taken it as a top-down approach, right? It's good to have even outside FBI. I know every state has their own offices, but the DOJ part of this too, Emily. I don't know what accountability will look like or how deep it will go, but I agree with you. Criminal charges feel fair.
Yeah, they did prosecute 2 state employees last week, the 32-count indictment. We're seeing it, and they said, look, we're willing to go after state employees because that's how you stop this. It's not whack-a-mole with the fraudsters.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.